South China Morning Post, 6 October 2022. Tensions between the U.S. and China allow these 7 trade partners to benefit from Washington's friendshoring. The democratic world paid the communist world a bribe to work together against them. Right now, China is the most significant communist threat. A new study shows which allies are the best candidates for friendshoring as the U.S. tries to move supply lines away from strategic rivals and strengthen ties with allies. According to a report by Allianz Trade on Thursday, the countries best positioned to help the U.S. shake off its dependence on China are Vietnam, Indonesia, Brazil, Malaysia, and Mexico. The study focused on globalization and friendshorsing, and it looked at countries that might be interested in the U.S.-initiated plan to change the global supply chain through allies. The countries were chosen based on how well they trade with the U.S. and EU and how competitive they are with China in traditional and global trade. Allianz found that Asian competitors like Vietnam, Taiwan, South Korea, India, Thailand, and Malaysia partly benefited from the tense situation between the U.S. and China. The report also said China is an essential supplier for the most globalized industries, including computers and telecommunications, electronics, household goods, metals, chemicals, machinery, and automobile and transportation equipment. China makes up between 6% and 27% of the world's output in these areas. Friendship away from China is not a quick and easy fix, said Ludovic Subran, head economist at Allianz. Bringing back most of China's trade with the rest of the world will take a very long time. China wants to become a superpower, so it has been slowly spreading its power worldwide. If you look at the supply side, China is the most significant player in the world. The new study shows that China contributes nearly $3.4 trillion annually to global value chains. Just 0.5% of the world's output comes from imports along the value chain. In Vietnam, that number rises to 3.9%. In Singapore, it drops to 3%, and in Taiwan and Hong Kong, it falls to 2.3%. It's currently 0.6% in Germany and 0.3% in the US. There will be more problems in a broken world, even though trade and goods connect the world more than ever, Subran said. And there will be 2 ways to work, with political rhetoric and with practicality. Another thing the report said was that the US and EU are very dependent on China in the globalized areas listed above. Subran also warned that taking countries out of the global value chain would be dangerous because it would cause prices for producers to go through the roof. Companies are used to the problems between the US and China, and they will find ways to deal with them, Subran said. From China's point of view, the US is only a key supplier of 22 types of goods, mainly in the food and agriculture industry. The study said these 22 types of goods make up only 0.2% of China's total imports. An essential source of 188 types of goods for China, mainly in the food and agriculture, textiles, and machinery and equipment sectors, the EU plays a more substantial part. Not even 2% of all the goods that China buys come from these areas, but they make up almost 20% of its imports from the EU. Subran said, "We can't de-globalize China, when there is such critical supply dependence." He also called the issue systemic and complicated. Both teams lose. 2 to 3 years will pass before the world is no longer dependent on China.